said you can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song.
Welcome to Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged with your host, Brain Fitzpatrick. Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged is a snapshot of the day-to-day experiences of disabled individuals as they navigate the world around us. We wish to shed light and open your eyes on a new perspective of people with disabilities. And by going unplugged, we can discuss viewpoints we hope will challenge our viewers' points of view. Most of us have disabilities we must live with, but what defines us is the way we deal with them. And now, here's your host, Brain Fitzpatrick.
Good afternoon, folks. This is Brain Fitzpatrick. I'm bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathways of Life with Brain Fitzpatrick. And today's show is going to be an education and a half. So buckle, everybody put their seatbelts on. I'm going to run through some major stuff that's going on. One subject is I'm going to say this segment is going to be service. This segment's going to be basically service renewal conversation. What I mean by service renewal is right now, technically I don't have a PCA program at this point because my yearly allotment has expired over 2 weeks ago and still hasn't been renewed yet. As a matter of fact, I'd like to thank all my staff for continuing to work even though they're not getting paid right now. The pay will be retroactive, but basically all my staff are not getting paid right now because of the mix-up in my renewal. So today I want to talk about the renewal system and how that works. And then we will get into the other major subject that I want to talk about. And that's another, that'll probably be on the next segment. But the segments may run together, so like I said, hang on guys, because this is going to be a lot of information very fast, so hold on. Here we go. Number one, it is up to the individual. It is when you have the PCA program, this is anybody. The services are given to a client, okay, which in turn makes the client the actual employer. In some cases, they have what they call a surrogate. Okay? Surrogate is when the client cannot handle the paperwork, either be it physical or a mental situation. Now, technically, because of that, the state is not supposed to call the client, they're supposed to call the surrogate when it gets up to the renewal system. Now, this is only to give you a basic understanding of how this works. In Pittsfield alone, just in Pittsfield, we have Ad-Lib, Center for Independent Living, on 208 No, on 115 North Street. All right, either 115 or 15 North. I believe it's 115. But Ad-Lib is the physical intermediary version of the physical intermediary of the PCA program. It used to be Stavros, now it's Tempus is the payroll company. Okay? Well, when services are ended, you get notified that within 2 to 3 months, or at least a month ahead of time, you're supposed to be notified to put in the paperwork and do all the evaluations to see if you need services. Well, in my case, that didn't happen. So that's what started this whole thing. Now, that is what started that whole situation. Now what I'm gonna say is not illegal, but this is the way we do it, because the PCA program does recognize some other agencies stepping in and helping. And one of those agencies, Medicaid, acknowledges as mass rehab. I receive services from both mass rehab and Ad-Lib. And what mass rehab does, it comes under the statewide head injury program, which is known as SHIP. All right, SHIP is from anybody with a brain injury that's typically from an accident, or typically from a head injury. But I was I was put into that program because I was in a nursing home. I was put in the nursing home under a class action lawsuit that stated anybody under the age of 65 is eligible for specialized housing in the community. Well, that nursing home initiative ended, so SHIP is overseeing what's left of the nursing home initiative. I know that was a lot of information. SHIP was dissolved. No, the nursing home initiative, was dissolved into the statewide head injury program. And that's one of the areas where I got messed up because Medicaid thought that I was receiving services from the other part of mass rehab, and I'm not. I'm receiving services from the state head injury program, which is mostly case management and not physical. So I'm not technically receiving duplicating services. So that's what that was all about. And the other thing I want to talk about today is, unfortunately, in my world, lately, I'm very limited on staff because when one person's down, one person can mess up my schedule. One person can mess up my schedule, and then you have to wind up scrambling to get other people to come in. And that's what's been going on. And that's what's been going on lately. Especially when you got a PCA that lives in the mother-daughter team that live basically in the same house, in the same duplex, and they see each other on a daily basis, which is not a bad thing, but that kind of puts them in a position of when one's sick, they're both sick, so neither one of them can come to work. So that's been tough this week. So, and the other subject that I want to talk about and spend quite a bit of time on is when doctors, this is system-wide, this is statewide, this is federally and statewide, regionally, federally, statewide, whatever. The doctors are so limited, okay? In my opinion, if a doctor wants to take a vacation, doctor picks a day of days of taking vacation, and if the doctor has appointments, just cancel that appointment and don't worry about it, and we'll just reschedule. Now, that is not very fair or very ethical in the sense of, prime example, if a patient needs to be seen and has an order from a doctor to be seen every 3 months, every two times a year. Basically every three months, or every 6 months, or every 3 months. Actually, 2 or 3 times a year. Well, like me, I'm supposed to be seeing a nurse practitioner and the doctor one after the other. I mean, one time and one the next. Okay? Because of vacations. Okay, from the doctor. I haven't seen one of my doctors in over a year because of scheduling. Okay? And that is not right. Okay, in the fact that, I'm sorry, guys, I just hit the microphone, but it's okay, it's still on and everything, so don't worry about it. Back to what I was saying is it's not fair when a doctor takes a vacation, then you push the patient back until, and then something else happens and you push the patient back. No wonder people are getting sick, besides COVID and everything, because they can't be seen. And some of it is not because doctors are on vacation. It's because of doctors are retiring and there's no doctors being hired or coming into Berkshire County. We are very limited on doctors that we have in Berkshire County because of the fact that, in my opinion, there's not enough doctors to cover, and there's not enough new doctors coming into the area. Of Massachusetts to work. And in my opinion, and they are great to help out when needed and where needed. But there are times that a traveling doctor or a traveling nurse can be useful, and there's times when I can't. And when I come back from my first PSA, I will explain what I mean. We will be right back, folks.
You brought me this far, so why would I question you now? You have provided, so why would I start to doubt? I've never been stranded, abandoned, or left here to fight alone. So I'm giving you control. I lift my life up. Give it all in surrender. I lift my heart up. You can have it forever. All my dreams, all my plans, Lord, I leave it in your hands. I lift my life up. Have your way in me. Have your way in me. If peace is a river, then let it sweep over me. If I'm under fire, I know it's refining me. When I hear you calling out, I'll follow now, wherever the road may go, because I know you're leading me home. I lift my life up. I give it all in surrender. I lift my heart up. You can have it forever. All my dreams, all my plans, Lord, I leave it in your hands. I lift my life up. Have your way in me. Have your way in me. Take my life and let it be all for you. Take my life and let it be all for you. I lift my life up. I give it all in surrender. I lift my heart up. Take my life. I lift my life up. Give it all in surrender. I lift my heart up. You can have it forever. All my dreams, all my plans, Lord, I leave it in your hands. I lift my life up. Oh, have your way
afternoon, folks. This is Brian Fitzpatrick bringing you another episode of Wheeling the Pathway of Life. And what I was saying was that before we took a break is the fact that traveling doctors are good in the sense that they're good when you don't have other doctors to step in and help, but you need you pretty much can't do that with primary physicians. I can talk today. Because there's not as much there's not so much consistency. I was gonna use the word continuity, but I was having trouble with that, so I just used it, but I couldn't spit it out at first. But so you can use traveling doctors and doctors' offices, but that is too difficult in my opinion because you don't have enough consistency with the same doctor to use as regular physicians, because you can't see somebody that travels for as long as you need to, because they're just not there consistently to follow you. Now, most of my care is not done at the doctor's office. Unfortunately, because I'm disabled. And the way the medical system is set up, we can't do some of the activities that we normally would do at the doctor's office. So they have to be done at the hospital due to the transfer and everything, because there's about a half a dozen reasons, but I'll give you a couple, maybe three, but I'll give you at least two. All right, no lift in a doctor's office at all. Why is that? Because if you put one lift in for somebody else, you have to put lifts in for everybody, okay? And there are so many different ways of picking somebody up and different equipment to be able to do. The other reason is there's not enough room in the doctor's office to put this equipment. So therefore, and each Hoyer sling, in my case, is designed and fit for that particular client. So, let's say they buy a lift pad for me, and I only use it once or twice a year. Then it sits there for 6 months and not be used. Right? They would have to get lift pads and stuff for every one of their patients in a wheelchair. And the expense of that would preclude them from being able to do that. So most of my care is the follow-up. You can check your blood pressure, you can talk to the doctor, but most of the physical aspect of the physical is done in the hospital. The hospital may not like that, but that's the way it's done because of the transfers and everything that need to be done. The other factor is too that when you're disabled, you never know when you're gonna need medical care. So sometimes you're fine 1 minute, like anybody, you're fine 1 minute, and the next minute you're in the hospital because you got pressure sores that you didn't know were there, you got pre-existing conditions you don't know. I've got a pre-existing condition that requires me to go to the hospital a lot more than anybody else, typically, because I don't move around as much. Not because I don't want to move, but just physically. And I want to let the hospitals and doctors know, because I get this all the time. When I'm in the hospital, or when I'm going to the hospital for a simple procedure, they say to me, "Why are you here? Why can't this be done at the doctor's office?" Because I can't get out of the chair at the doctor's office. I need at least 2 people and or a lift to be picked up out of the chair and put on the bed. So, therefore, if you need at least 2 people to lift you and 2 people to transfer you, you're better off going to the ER and not the doctor's office, because they just don't have the staff or the ability to be able to do that. A lot of what I'm running into in my 47 years of being alive, in my opinion. Now, that's what I've run across is the fact that a lot of what I talk about is common sense. If you got somebody in a chair, you need assistance getting up out of the chair, the easiest way to do that is to go where you got more people to help you. okay? You don't want to go somewhere that doesn't have the equipment to do it. Now, if the insurance companies don't understand that and say, why are you going to the hospital? If you have to ask that, if an insurance company has to ask that, I say, why are you in the insurance business? Because if you don't have enough common sense to be able to help somebody with a disability and be able to make exceptions for those people, then you're in the wrong business. Now, if I offended somebody in saying that, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I get that at least the state of Massachusetts, in the way this country is going right now, money is very tight. Okay? But I'm gonna get on this soapbox for just a second. When you've got able-bodied people getting services that can work and sustain themselves, but they have a little bit of a hard time with things, they can function easily in the community. Just give them pills and, I'm not saying they don't need assistance, but they don't need as much services. Put them on limited services, like this, the insurance industry is so backwards. They give people who need more services and more flexibility the hardest time, and they give the not so acute, they give the people that don't need as much help an easy time to get it. In my opinion, that's backwards. Now, who am I? I'm this guy that lives day in and day out using a chair. I see what goes on, and believe me, we got more in this country than not having. We just got a new speaker out yesterday in the federal government. Hello, with all due respect, there's more to this country going on than just not having a speaker of the House. Now, and I know you know this, there's a war going on in Israel, which I understand, totally respect. But what I'm saying is, there's more going on in every city and town that people are paying attention to. It's the little guys that don't get paid attention to. It's the people that need help don't get what they need. And then they get mad because somebody complains about it. They Medicaid, go back to where I started. Medicaid, and everybody needs to revamp, in my opinion, their recertification procedures. Because as you can see, I need services. And unfortunately, I will need them for the rest of my life. Now, I get you need documentation. How much more documentation do you need when you can see I'm in a chair? I'm not in a chair because I want to be. Okay? I'm in a chair because I have to be. Not saying that I'm feeling bad for myself, or not saying that I want to change, but I'm in the position I'm in because God wanted me here. So when people say to me, you don't need much help, if my control room can zoom out and the reason why I'm doing this is just to prove to people that if you don't think I need help because I'm in a chair, I'm gonna say it. There is something definitely wrong with you. You're not thinking correctly. If you're willing to take money away from somebody in a chair or somebody with a major disability, you're crazy. Okay, Kelsey, you can come back in. You are crazy. But I will say there are high-functioning people in this society, and I am a high-functioning person, but without the services that I get, I can't be a high-functioning person without the services I need. Okay? So I want people to think about what they're doing and why they're doing it, and the best way that everybody can get along and understand that when you're trying to cut services or say we need more oversight, there's not much more oversight than what I just showed you. There's not much more proof that you would need to say, I don't need, or I don't deserve as much money or as much services as I need because we think he's taking advantage of the services. So therefore, We need more proof. What I don't understand is why do you need to, I mean, I get it. You need to dot your teeth and cross your eyes. Cross your teeth and dot your eyes. But if I'm an example of anybody, then if there's any example of anybody that needs services and anybody that needs care on a daily basis, it's me. I'm not saying there isn't anybody out there except me that needs as much services like I do. There are many, many cases of mental disabilities are disabilities. Okay. But mental disability are a disability. But when you, and I'm not questioning whether they need services or not, but people need to look at the reality and the necessity that the client needs and that the client wants to be an active member of society. If you're cutting services because you're thinking, oh, this client's getting too much, let me ask you a question. To me, there's never too much. It should be based on what I am doing on a daily basis. And in order to function, in order to get out of bed in the morning, I need people to be in the house to get me out of bed in the morning. And quite frankly, if they're not getting paid, how much longer are they gonna do it if they don't get paid? Now, I wish in some cases that people would just do things for the sake of doing things instead of worrying about the paycheck all the time. But everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to pay bills. Everybody's got to pay groceries. Everybody's got to get groceries. Everybody's got to pay for those groceries. Everybody's got to pay for heat. I get that. But if you take away services from other people, the disabled, you're also taking money out of people's pockets. And you complain, people complain about the economy and stuff like that. Well, if the state and federal government takes money out of the pockets of people, food out of the mouths of people, how much more is the economy gonna suffer because you're doing that? You gotta put money in the economy to make the economy work. Now, I will say this. I am a strong proponent of what's going on I am a strong proponent of the way the U.S. is handling what's going on in the Middle East right now. And the war right now. But I am also a strong proponent in using money at home before you go out to other countries and help other people. Because if you can't help your own people, how are other people gonna help you? How are we supposed to help other people if we can't even take care of our own people at home? Now, in the last couple minutes I have, I will invite somebody to come on the show. I will invite, not this week obviously because he's not here yet, but Peter Marchetti, President Marchetti, hopefully soon to be city councilman. You are more than welcome to come on my show to talk about disabilities and talk about ways that you're gonna help people with disabilities. I get you're talking about the economy, you're talking about what we need to do for the city, but what are you gonna do for people with disabilities in Pittsfield? And that includes any of the state representatives. I'm more than welcome to come on my show, but you need to be ready to answer the hard questions. How much more do we need to prove that we need services before you realize, hey, I get the fact that you gotta renew things because you can't just be paying out for stuff that I don't need or I no longer need because I'm here. But as long as I'm here, I'm gonna need services. So please think about contacting me, President Marchetti. You can email me at wheelingthepathwaytolife@gmail.com, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Anybody else have any suggestions or any frustration like I am expressing today? Please let me know and we will schedule a show around the certain circumstances you want to talk about. This show is for you, and anything you want to talk about, we can talk about. And next week, I'm gonna have one of my strongest supporter in the technical business and the supporting business and the training business of running a TV show. And we are going to talk about things that we are about to do, reminisce about stories, about situations that we have run across, and give you the direction where Pittsfield Community Television and W 89.7 WTBR is going in the next year, and anything else we can fit in the remaining time we have next week. But like I said, this was not a complaint show, but I want you to understand how life is for somebody with a disability, and if people cut services and people say you don't need money for this, I am here to tell you, everything I have, including this chair, which is $25,000 a piece. The seat that I'm sitting in is $1,500. The seat that I'm sitting in is $15,000 in itself. Now, you tell me that I don't need money to pay for this stuff. And because it's got a medical name on it, that's why it's so expensive. Because the insurance company wants to make money. I get that. But we need to put regulations on that as well. And I will be talking about that in future shows. So, for this week, folks, this has been Brian Fitzpatrick bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathway to Life. If you want to get a hold of me, again, contact me at wheelingthepathwaytolife@gmail.com. Thank you, and we will talk to you all next week. Have a good afternoon, folks.
You can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song. 'Cause when the spirit's moving is where will be done. You can bury the workman, but the work will